Hola, buenos días. ¿Quiere unos zapatos para mí? De hombre, de mujer. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, alright. Alright, so today, I want to make this, Chinese meatball, which is really nice, and you don't need too much, to make this. You need some ground meat. I have, turkey, and, for the vegetable, I have, Daikon radish. You can also use cabbage, Chinese Napa cabbage, I think Napa cabbage, and for seasoning you have ginger, green onion, and I have this thing called preserved vegetable. Don't worry about the English translation. They're all different. They're all wrong. And what you really look for is these two characters between my thumbs, if you can remember them. I'll post them in the comment of the video description. You can check. So essentially what this is preserved vegetable. They're basically salted vegetable. You could think of it as a pickle, except it's not cucumber and it's salty and not too sour. Okay? It would be nice to have this. It's definitely not mandatory. I'll show you how to use it. But if you don't have it, just don't have it. It's totally cool. And then you need some tapioca starch to make sure the meatball is smooth. Okay, so let's start. What we do is we'll start by preparing a hot water for the meatball. And to do that, we need some ginger, and we'll just try to take out some of the skin. So you're going to boil it for a long time, so you don't need to be too careful with how you actually prepare the ginger. Just make sure you give it a fair amount of surface area. Okay, and just give it a smack. This one. Right, good. And now you take your I already put water in the pot, see? Preparing. So you take this and you put the ginger inside, and then you can put some of the preserved vegetable on the inside. There's going to be some juice, but it's totally okay. As soon as I found out how to open it, it doesn't have a... I need to use a scissor, I guess. So we'll use maybe a half. So essentially what this is any preserved vegetable have some level of decomposition, and it serves as the same kind of the same spirit as miso for Japanese food. It makes things more flavorful, essentially. So I put them in and give the soup some color already, see? So now we just put it on top of the pot and let it boil. Cool. Alright, what we know is we want to make the sauce, and we can do that by... how do we want to do this? We'll show you. I like to mix it in a bowl with a vertical drop this way instead of a round edge. It makes it easier to mix, and we'll just put inside all of the ground turkey. Why do I use ground turkey? You can definitely use ground pork, or maybe less, you can use beef. But turkey is nice because it's very smooth. Does that make sense? So I just put the turkey in, and I'll cut in these ingredients, such as the green onion. So I guess I'll go over the overall theme of this dish. You want to make a soup, and when you make soup, usually what has to happen is you need a piece of bone. And meatball soup is one of the rare things that you can make a soup out of without having bone, and it's a very special power you have. Not very often you can make a good soup without bone, because the broth tends to be very flat and doesn't have flavor. But if you add this meatball, the meat is actually very flavorful, and when you cook it, much of the meat flavor come out. So it actually makes a very good soup. Let's see, we'll use mostly the white part. Are we seeing here? We'll try to chop them more or less very finely. So I'll make a slice here, so they'll turn out to be more small. And we'll use the white of this. I want to save the green for the very end when the soup is already made, and you just put it over the top. I guess we can use some green already. Let's use these green. And I guess I will do some chop this way to make sure they're not too big. The reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure the meatball is smooth. That's the key word to go for. You want to make sure the meatballs are very, very smooth. And having a big chunky vegetable inside the meatball definitely will not make it very smooth. So essentially everything we do today is to keep that in mind. Okay, so we chop them and put them inside. And I think for good measure we will chop some of the preserved vegetable as well for some added flavor. They're very tasty. You can so essentially for the longest time when you have a picnic in China, you will bring some bread or steamed bread, and you bring this preserved vegetable, and you essentially put this as a sandwich inside the bread and eat it. That's totally fine. This thing is very salty, so it replenishes some of the salt that you lose in sweat. It's a very popular item to go on picnics, so something to keep in mind. We'll give them some good chops. Okay, and we put these inside the meatball as well. Great. See, that's what it looked like for now. Now what we want to do is to stir, and to do that it's hard to stir now because everything is very, well, it's actually easy because turkey is so smooth already. I think it will help if you add some oil. Any oil is fine, but maybe olive oil will have the too bitter, it's too strong. Let's just add some normal vegetable oil that doesn't have any flavor, and you can add some water. How much water to add? Don't add too much, add a little bit for now, and mix it and see how, if it's, you definitely don't want to make it runny, but you want to make it smooth, and adding water definitely helps. So let's just mix them. Let's see. So when you mix it, you want to turn one direction. I'm using clockwise. And just keep turning, keep turning. Be very patient and keep turning. And while turning, you can look at the composition. See if you like what you see. Ideally, you have a lot of vegetable or green onion intermixed with the meat. That's going to give it some extra flavor. Turn, turn, turn. I think we can use more green onion. So just adapt. Everything is not exact. So when you have something that's not exact, you want to be able to use some feedback. turning. And then we can start gradually adding the flavor. So this thing is powered by soy sauce. See, soy sauce. This soy sauce is not very salty, so we can add more and spill some. My god, that's horrible. Let's keep everything tidy here. And you can add some salt. So this meatball can be more salty than necessary because the saltiness of it needs to come out and power the soup. So just keep that in mind when you're making it. It's supposed to be a bit more salty than usual. And then we just keep turning it. Alright, looks pretty good. But you see there's still some chunkiness inside. So this is where the tapioca starch comes in. So by adding some tapioca starch, I think this is optional, to be honest. To make this dish you don't need the cornstarch or tapioca starch, but it make it that much nicer to have. So you can add a fair amount. So what this will do is it'll make it more smooth. I guess everything we're doing is how to make it very smooth. So we need to add some water to go with the tapioca starch. And then continue to mix. Leki. Girando, un paseo por fuera, que no puedo, un paseo por fuera. So why do we mix in a single direction? It's because we want to line up all the fibers in the meat into a single direction. If you go in different direction, it gets confused. So going in a single direction, you're actually lining up all the fibers of the meat into each other. That's what makes it smooth. Because in the beginning, ground meat have the fibers going in many different directions. By stirring it in a uniform way, we're actually mixing the fibers together. That's what makes this dish great. Okay. Alright, I think that looks good. See how smooth it is. And it looks like it has some real string structure in it now. By our hard, this is the hardest part, just stir. I think I stirred probably 100, 200 times already. Maybe 300. Okay, alright, so now let's cut the daikon. So this dish is good to complement with, let me find my vegetable piece, I'll just use this one. It's good to complement with some vegetable that's chunky, but doesn't have a lot of flavor. So daikon is definitely very good. Napa cabbage is also very good. So I think we'll just use all of it. And okay, looks good. We want to cut it into big old chunks, okay? So how do we do this? We'll take off the head. Something you could do with the head, you can try to plant this in water. Sometimes it sprouts. So maybe I'll try that. Let's see, I'll make a big cut down the middle. Ooh, didn't quite work. Oh well. Let's see, the cooking cannot be as exact as we want. This is actually quite bad. They're not uniform in shape. I'll probably have to cut one more vertically this way. But I might also cut my hand this way. So just to show you the struggle is real. Okay, good. Make these incisions. Good. And the last piece. Great. All right, fantastic. Let's go to the exciting part. Put them in the pot. Give you the pot view. It's boiling. As you can see, this at the current stage is non-flavored water with just some kind of preserved vegetable and ginger inside. So what we can do is we can put the daikon in first. Or you can put it in second. It doesn't quite matter in which order you put things in, because usually when you put things in, it takes account to how long something cook, and you want to align the order so everything cook at the same time. But the meatball is very porous, as you know, it's not a solid piece of meat, so they cook very fast by definition. So we don't have to be too careful with the ordering. I'll give you. Maybe I'll get a better camera setup. So we'll just wait for the water to boil again. And I'll demonstrate how to put the meatball inside. I need a spoon. So you want to do is take a spoon and you're going to scoop it as you would scoop an ice cream. Make the ball, drop it inside. Okay? So let's just wait. Oh, maybe let's not wait. I think the water is going to boil soon. So, but I want to make sure you can see it. I'll go here. Okay, can we see? Let's try a different angle. Will this work better? Please subscribe so I have money to get better equipment. Okay, so put the spoon in the hot water to make it hot so it doesn't stick, and then gently scoop this into a roughly a bowl. It's not perfect, and you drop it and it should detach. See, it's clean. So make a bowl, put it inside, see, clean again. And you just keep doing this. So I'm going to try something where the ball I make in the beginning are going to be bigger, so they will be in there longer, so they'll cook over a longer period of time, and gradually I'll reduce the size of my balls. That sounds horrible. Gradually reduce the size of the meatball, so they will cook evenly at the same time. Again, it's just get it in there. There's no reason to be overly careful about the shape of it. Where I guess some high-end cook will probably care about the shape a lot, but we're just trying to show some concept. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to talk about how's your day, you know, How are you going back to see this cooking video? What are you going to make it, or you're just watching someone cook make you hungry? How you're going to solve that problem? Are you going to cook, or are you going to buy takeout food? I don't know. I don't know what viewers do when they watch these videos. It's interesting, and it's fun to think about because I have quite a few views now. I don't really know what you guys are thinking, so I guess give me a comment so I know what I can improve. Would be nice. Would be nice. But yeah. I'm going to film the whole thing today. So if you get bored, just skip. But so I think I'm actually making the meatball bigger instead of smaller because I'm getting more and more impatient. You know, this video will be much faster if I just cook less, but it's a realistic thing. If you're cooking for more than one person, right, it takes longer, but hopefully you realize that most of the cooking time is linear. It's linear in that if it take 20 minutes to cook for one person, then it probably take like 40 minutes to cook for two, in essence. And we're about done. See, we used all of it. We'll just wrap up the rest into a misshapen meatball. And just put it in. It'll become part of the soup, I guess. And there is some foam, so we can probably take out some of the foam for just for aesthetic, and maybe it's worth it. So this meatball will cook in 10 minutes. So we're not going to show that because I'm not doing anything. So we'll just check back in 10 minutes and let it boil, and I'll see you soon. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes. See, look, woo! Look how good. Yeah? So we'll put it in a bowl. Make sure we have a bit of everything. Got the meatballs, Daikon radish. Give them more soup. And Ta-da! Look at that. It's pretty nice, right? So the idea is the vegetable, like a daikon, really balance out the meaty flavor of the meat. That's it. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Food.log. Every week, show you something cool. Alright, until next time.